Time to start the show. Time to start the show. This is the Viewmasters. Time to start the show. Hello. Welcome to the Viewmasters. Episode 268. Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. My name is Joe.
My name is Eric.
Hello, Eric.
Hello, Joe.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Excellent.
Did that throw you?
which you doing great?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm a little bit, honestly. But I'm glad to hear it. I threw me. Like I came in real hot.
Yeah, you did. That's part of the reason I'm doing great.
Oh, I mean, this movie comes in hot, so I figured I should come in hot as well.
I agree. Oh boy, this movie is insane.
When I started the movie, and I saw the Canon logo, I got real excited.
I have not actually watched this movie in probably 15 years. And so I totally forgot that this was a canon movie. And it made me real giddy.
I mean, I feel like making just random sequels to movies was kind of their thing, right?
Sort of. I don't know that I would call this a random sequel, though. Because it is directed by the original director.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. It's cheap, but it looks alright.
Yeah, it looks fine.
Yeah.
It looks like a 70s horror movie.
I mean, it was filmed in the 80s, but...
I know.
It definitely looks slightly more pricier than the original.
Okay.
Which was, I think the budget on this movie was like $4.5 million. Most of which I'm guessing probably went to Dennis Hopper.
Sure.
Who is in this movie. But the original, which had no stars whatsoever, unless you count John Larroquette.
Who doesn't?
You always should.
Respect for Dan Fielding.
Damn right.
Dan right.
Yep. He's not actually in the movie, he's just the narrator.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that movie was probably made for like $5. So what do you have a history with the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise?
None at all.
Okay.
None whatsoever. This is my very first one.
Wow.
I was vaguely aware of Leatherface as a character.
Sure.
But knew nothing about him other than he was a guy who uses a chainsaw and has a fucked up face.
Right. Do you mind if I go into a little bit of context with my experience with this franchise?
Please do.
Okay. So my first experience is with actually the trailer for Part 3. I remember seeing it on TV, and it has stuck with me forever, so much so that just before the show, I watched the trailer on YouTube, and it is exactly how I remember it.
That's amazing.
And it's basically a beautiful shot of like a lake. The camera panning sort of over it on the shore, and there's a man standing on the banks looking over it. And then emerging from the water is the blade of a chainsaw. as it gets thrown up into the air via the Lady of the Lake, a la King Arthur.
Amazing.
And it is a very decorative chainsaw. And it flies up through the air, and the man standing raises his fist up, and it lands perfectly and gets struck by lightning, and it powers up, and he turns around, and it's Leatherface. And it's just Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Holy shit.
And it was amazing. And I never saw that movie until 2 months ago.
How is that one?
It's not good.
No.
That one at least has 2 people I recognized in it. It had Ken Foree, who is one of the stars of the original Dawn of the Dead. And it stars a very little baby, Viggo Mortensen.
Oh, wow.
As one of the Leatherface family guys.
That's crazy.
It is. I believe he plays Tex Sawyer.
Okay. They just keep adding members to the family as they need to.
Yeah, pretty much. So then, since you brought that up, I was looking online to just sort of figure out the Leatherface family tree. And the first 2 movies, they pretty much keep a tight leash on the family members. They are basically the same. The only difference is Chop Top is a new one in this movie, played by Bill Moseley. His counterpart in the first movie, who in this one he is the twin brother of,
right,
was killed off. Yeah.
Okay.
His name is Nubbins.
Oh boy.
And he is the corpse that everyone sort of carries around throughout this movie.
I was gonna say he's still around because he's in that last scene with the grenade.
Yep. And then in 3, then they just go bug fuck and they just add 1,000 other characters. And then I stumbled onto the 4th movie, which also has completely different characters. And I've never seen the 4th one. This is the one that famously has I don't know if it's their film debuts or not, but it has Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey.
Holy shit!
Yeah. It's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
Okay.
And it was filmed, I think, in 1994 and wasn't released until 97 after both Zellweger and McConaughey became huge stars.
Gotcha.
And I know Zellweger was never big on talking about it, and just sort of one of those hey, it's something I did. While McConaughey was pretty much all about it.
Sure.
Because why not?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But the thing that strikes me about so on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre wiki that I found,
naturally,
the general plot outline for the movie, I just want to read it to you if I can.
Okay.
In Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation, Leatherface has another family, which is not cannibalistic like in the other timelines. Instead, they are involved in a conspiracy by the Illuminati, which is controlled by aliens.
What? What? Instantly interested in that movie.
Right?
Holy shit. First of all, I like the idea that there is a Texas Chainsaw Massacre multiverse where on one Earth they're cannibals, on the other one they are controlled by aliens?
Yep.
Amazing. Because then, we could eventually have is there ever a crossover between the two timelines?
I
or
hope.
Crisis on Infinite Chainsaws?
God, that would be amazing. Because there's even a third timeline. Because then you have the remake. And
Right.
It's prequel. So anyway, so the first I saw the original Texas Chainsaw probably early 2000s when it came out on DVD, and I loved it, and it is very gritty and cheap and sort of cheap looking. It does feature the absolute worst character to ever be in a movie, that you are actively rooting for him to die.
Oh no.
His name is Franklin. And he is one of the victims of the family who he is wheelchair bound, and he is obnoxious as fuck.
Is he the guy who Dennis Hopper is related to?
Yes.
In this movie? Okay.
Yep. And so then I saw part 2 again on DVD shortly after it came out, and then I saw the remake. Which I also really like, but it is a straight up serious horror movie.
Sure.
Produced by Michael Bay.
What?
Oh yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh yeah, Michael Bay had I think it's called Platinum Dunes was his production company.
Okay.
And they would just remake old horror movies. They did this. They did the Friday the 13th remake and the Nightmare on Elm Street remake.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. One of them is really good. One of them is really bad. And one of them is just right down the middle.
All right.
And then about a year or so ago, I watched Texas Chainsaw 3D, which is actually a direct sequel to the original movie.
Okay.
Which it's fine. It's got Alexandra Daddario in it.
Okay.
Who is attractive.
Yeah, she's fine. I've liked her in things.
Sure. I vaguely remember her from the first season of True Detective.
Right.
Yeah. I think she may have been in the Baywatch movie as well.
I believe she was, yes.
Yeah. But that one is she is like a long lost relative of the family who winds up inheriting the old Texas Chainsaw house. And it turns out Leatherface is living in the basement.
So it's like Parasite. That's what it sounds like.
A little bit, yeah. But I never saw. So I've never seen the fourth one, which I now really want to see.
Yeah, it sounds incredible.
Right? And then I never saw the prequel to the remake. And there is now a prequel to the original called Leatherface. So the thing about this franchise is they can't come up with distinctive titles.
What is the prequel to the remake called?
It is called Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. And then followed by Texas Chainsaw 3D. Then, Leatherface. And then there is apparently a new remake happening that's supposed to come out sometime in the next year or two.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But I think my favorite out of all of them, I mean, the first one, the original, I think is a better movie, but I like part 2 so much more.
Okay.
Because it is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's bananas.
And part of it is that, it was made like 13 years after the original by the same director, who apparently decided that he just wanted to make a comedy.
Yeah, it's it wasn't what I expected. It's weird. It wasn't what I expected, and it was also, to a certain degree, exactly what I expected from a movie called Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Sure.
Like, just lots of over-the-top gore.
Yeah.
Which from reading it sounds like is maybe not in the first one. Like it's not as, or like this one is more gory than the first one. Is that right?
This one definitely has more on-screen gore.
Okay.
The first one is more, subtle and hinted at. Like I can think of maybe 2 scenes of like actual on-screen violence in the first one. But fewer people die in this one. Because I think the first one has like it's a group of like 5 or 6 kids that are all like taking a road trip.
Okay.
And they wind up running out of gas and basically getting cornered by the Sawyer family, or the Sawyer family.
Oh boy. Ugh.
Anyway,
we're done here. No, honestly, that was good. I get respect for that one.
it occurred to me when I was watching it. I watch everything with subtitles.
Sure.
And it was like, oh wait, is their name a joke about saws? Because I don't think they have a surname in the first one.
Okay.
The I guess sort of patriarch of the family, who in this movie is a chili magnate.
Yes. What?
In the first one, he just runs a gas station, and I think the gas station is called like Slaughter's gas station or something like that.
Nice.
But yeah, and in part 2, he's become a local mom and pop chef, catering business.
Yeah, it looked like he had a food truck.
Yeah. Very, very old type of food truck, like from movies came out in '86. So, yeah, and always looking for prime cuts of meat.
Yeah.
Just going to chili cook-offs, where they apparently just put chili right in your trophy.
Yeah, what? Why did they do that? Like, I guess it's an interesting way to announce which chili won.
Sure.
By pouring it into the top of the trophy, but it's still, like, it got all over the trophy.
Yeah, it's gross.
Yeah, I didn't care for that.
Can't have been sanitary.
Among many things that I didn't care for in this movie, I did not care for that.
So about I mean, I don't know where you were in the movie, but at one point you texted me, "Good Lord, this movie."
I think I was about an hour in at that point.
All right, so what was happening at that point?
Oh shit. I don't remember specifically what was happening.
Okay.
I may have been at the part where Leatherface makes Stretch wear her friend's face.
Oh.
Which
yeah, that's about an hour in. Yeah.
I fucking hated that. But like that was just the latest in a series of things that I had trouble with.
Yeah, no, it at a certain point just begins to escalate from horrible to awful.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah. I figured you would have a real problem. Like as I was watching it, I was like, oh, like it was one of the only parts that I really remembered from my initial viewing. The scene where Stretch is running away from Leatherface for the first time, where she then seduces him essentially.
Yeah, that was just fucking weird.
Yeah. As I was watching, I was like, "Oh, Joe is not gonna like this."
Well, I'll tell you what I was real worried about.
All right,
I bet you could guess probably what I was real worried about. Is Leatherface is inching his chainsaw up her leg towards her crotch.
Yes,
and I was real worried that he was going to turn that thing on,
Sure.
and it was going to be horrific.
Yeah, I mean, that is part of the tension of that scene.
I know, yeah. I mean, well done, Toby Hooper. You got me.
I remembered that scene, but I did not remember how maybe it didn't make me uncomfortable, 15 years ago, but it definitely did now.
It's just weird, like what is Leatherface? Like, is he like, he reminded me of Sloth from the Goonies in this movie. Like a chainsaw wielding sloth.
That is essentially correct. So in the first movie, it's relatively consistent throughout. So I know in the remake they try to make it like he's deformed.
Okay.
And that's why he wears the faces of the people he kills. But I think he in this continuity, he just enjoys wearing their faces.
Okay.
But yeah, he is developmentally disabled, possibly due to the stump-like nature of his family tree.
Sure, that's true. Yeah, it was weird. Like, I didn't know throughout, like, how I was supposed to feel about Leatherface. Like, am I supposed to feel sorry for him, or am I, like, because he's horrific?
Oh yeah, for sure.
But also, it seemed like it was trying to generate some sympathy for him. And then, like there's almost sort of a Frankenstein's monster thing, like particularly when he is putting Stretch's friend's face on her.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, the monster deserves a mate. Like, she's gonna be Lady Leatherface. It was just very strange. Like, what does he want to happen here? Because then he, like, dances with her.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking weird.
He likes to dance.
Yeah.
No, yeah, he is. Yeah, he is what he is. They do thread that fine line, between monstrous and sympathetic. But I think ultimately, they just always come down to, well, he's a guy with a chainsaw who kills and eats people.
Right. So how sympathetic can you really be?
Exactly. Yeah. They in the original they definitely don't do so much of the sympathy thing. But I do recall them doing that in the remake and in the Texas Chainsaw 3D when he's living in the basement.
Gotcha.
For the most part, yeah, he is just, the monster.
Yeah, it's just like it's weird because you've got Leatherface, and then the rest of the family is just insane. Like, just batshit crazy. Like, it's almost like, oh, Leatherface is the normal one in the family.
A little bit. I mean, I'm always going to appreciate the quiet one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Chop Top talks a lot.
He would not fucking shut up. I hated him so much.
So he is played by Bill Moseley, who is probably more famously known for, in the latter part of his career, for being in like every Rob Zombie movie.
Okay.
And as I was watching this movie, it sort of made me think, which again, I enjoyed the hell out of this movie. But I feel like Rob Zombie watched this movie once and thought, this is my entire aesthetic. And every movie he has made has been trying to do this, but without any concept of the fact that it's a comedy.
All right.
Which I think is partly why he continuously uses Bill Moseley in all his movies as well.
His ongoing homage to this movie.
Yes.
All right.
So Bill Moseley got this role because he was a fan of the original, and he shot a short film that he eventually showed to Tobe Hooper somehow. And Tobe Hooper said that, you know what, if I ever make a sequel, I've got a character in mind for you.
Nice.
The short film that he made was called The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Excellent. So it's a crossover between Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Nightmare on Elm Street. That's what it sounds like.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's awesome, though.
I do think, I mean, it's hard for you to say because this is the only Texas Chainsaw experience you've had.
Right.
But I think this is the best Leatherface.
Okay.
I mean, and partly is because it is played kind of for comedy. But he is very expressive. Whereas other Leatherfaces have not been so much.
Yeah, I was actually surprised by that. Like, my image of Leatherface is always just of like flaps of skin, and you can't see the face underneath.
Right.
Like almost like a Michael Myers mask, just made out of skin.
Right. Yeah.
So I was very surprised in this one that like you could see, the face underneath, and he has clear expressions and emotions, well,
right.
Somewhat clear emotions throughout the movie.
Yeah. Another bit of trivia for you that I think you might enjoy: the remake. The actor who plays Leatherface in that one is the same guy who played Max Shreck's son in Batman Returns.
What?
Chip, I believe?
Yeah. Oh my
Chip
god.
Shrek?
That's excellent. Does he do a really bad Christopher Walken impression as Leatherface as well?
Oh, I wish.
That would be incredible. Oh wow. I didn't know that guy did other stuff, so.
Oh yeah. He is also in the movie Hudson Hawk.
Oh wow, okay.
He plays a hitman called Butterfingers.
Perfect.
Because all the villains in that movie have candy bar names.
Nice.
David Caruso is Kit Kat.
I don't know how to feel about that, actually. That's strange.
He's also mute and just has a series of cards which say what he's thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's a cartoon character, basically.
Yeah. Hudson
Interesting.
Yeah. Highly recommended.
All right.
So I mean, this movie's weird.
Yeah. I mean, I thought, so like there is a level of gore that I am okay with.
Okay.
And I do think that this movie maybe exceeded it. Maybe it's like more like tongue-in-cheek gore that I'm okay with, like just cartoonish, hyper-stylized violence I'm okay with. Mm-hmm. But like the whole radio station sequence, starting from when Chop Top just appears.
Yeah.
And then when Leatherface came out of the record vault, that legitimately startled me. I did not expect him to be in there.
Same.
Yeah.
I jumped.
Yeah. That was awesome.
And then again, when what's his name, TG or LG?
LG, yeah.
Yeah, when he shows back up to the radio station and Leatherface jumps out again.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you got me twice, movie.
But yeah, I think that what I like more is tension than like gore. So like when Chop Top was like hammering on LG's head,
yeah,
that I could not watch, regardless of how fake it looked, because it did look pretty fake. But I could not watch it. And then like when Leatherface was flaying LG's body, and then of course, spoiler alert, LG's still fucking alive.
Yeah,
like
that was crazy.
That whole sequence, I could not look. Like stuff like that, I don't know if it's like it's too real or what it is about it, but I just could not handle that.
Huh? Because to me it was very cartoony.
Yeah, I mean maybe I don't. Yeah, I don't know what it is.
All right. So maybe what you're saying is that they should have done way more over the top.
Maybe if they'd gone a little further, I don't know. Like it was at the uncanny valley of gore for me.
All right. Because like there's spoiler, the scene towards the end when Dennis Hopper and Leatherface are in a chainsaw battle.
Yes.
Which is a thing that happens in this movie.
Yes. My favorite sequence.
Yeah, it was pretty great. Yeah, it's still just, I have to stop and wonder occasionally that, I mean, venerable, classical, respected actor Dennis Hopper is in this movie.
This movie came out the same year that Blue Velvet came out. I had that thought several times while I was watching this movie.
Now that's one I have not seen, but I am well aware of his character in that movie. But yeah, I mean, he's done some crap for sure. Like I've definitely seen some, direct, probably not even video movies that he has been, quote unquote, the star of.
Right.
Which, I mean, throughout this movie, I kept thinking, no, he was never on set with any of these people. Maybe like a day.
Right.
But, there was also just some, like, what the hell's happening kind of things. Like, when she goes to meet him at his hotel.
Yeah, that was real weird.
Yeah, he's like, so dismissive of her. Despite, a full scene earlier being all about, like, I'm after these chainsaw people and anybody who can help me, and then just, like, he looks like he's been beaten up. And he is just so unwilling to listen to her that it's jarring.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against his performance. It's just, what the hell is this?
Yeah, no, it's the writing of that scene is very strange.
Yeah.
And then she goes downstairs and judges or covers the judging of the chili cook-off.
Super weird.
Like, what?
Yeah. Joining LG as he is building a house made out of French fries.
Right. Which, awesome.
Sure. And she has nothing to say about that either.
Right. I assume that's typical LG behavior. It's just one of the things that she loves about him. Because she is in love with him.
Sure. I would still comment on the House of Fries, though. even if I had seen it 100 times, just, dismissively.
That's true. Oh, this again?
Yeah, right?
All right. When are you going to buy me a house, LG?
I think they live at the radio station.
I think you're right. They do. If nothing else, they're at least the only two people who work there.
For sure. there is a room that apparently just has a tub of beer on ice.
Yeah! What?
With a giant neon clock.
Oh, that's the break room, clearly.
I want a break room like that at the church.
Yeah, I would like a break room like that in my office as well. That's my house.
Well, then, no one's stopping you.
No one?
Oh, okay, Jenny. Forgot about that.
No, she'd probably be into it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then go for it.
It's her office as well, so.
All right, you just get just a medium-sized rusty tub, placed between your desks, and fill it with ice.
I do already have it's an LED sign. It's the Flash emblem, so I'm halfway there.
That's close. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could easily turn that into a clock.
Excellent. I like where this is going.
And you should have it run at twice the speed of a normal clock.
Naturally.
Because it's the Flash.
Right. No, I get it. Super speeds.
Uh-huh. That's where I was going.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's just there's I feel like we've barely talked about Dennis Hopper in this movie. It's for a while I felt like a very understated performance. Until he goes and gets the chainsaws.
Yep, that's exactly the moment I was going to point out. Yep. Yeah, like there's the scene I think before that is him at the hotel, which again is off-putting just because of everything that we had seen from him previously. Like you said, it's very understated.
Yeah,
and I don't know, it just made me feel like there had to be like a deleted scene there.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and there's the scene of him at the car accident site, which is which is sort of I felt like, he's just having a conversation. It's an intense conversation, but he's just having a regular conversation.
I mean, it's typical, cop out for vengeance kind of like scene.
Yeah.
Just we get a little bit of backstory. We get him just grim and broody about what has happened, and that whole like no one's listening to me kind of thing.
Right.
And then eventually he winds up buying 3 chainsaws and goes bug fuck.
Yeah. What? Like there is a point where, so like he tracks them to the abandoned amusement park that is their supervillain lair.
Sure.
And then he decides, I'm going to bring this whole building down one pillar at a time with my chainsaws.
Well, this is after he has like you said, he follows her actually to the amusement park. Because after the radio station attack, Leatherface lies to Chop Top and says that he has killed the girl, Stretch. And she freaks out because Dennis Hopper's character, Lefty, has not shown up to protect her.
Right.
And the criminals are getting away. So she chases after them, and little does she know that he is following her. And then tries to run her down.
Yeah, that was real strange.
Yeah.
Like, we need an extra scare here.
So, of course, the scariest thing is Dennis Hopper and a station wagon.
Right.
But when he enters their supervillain lair, which is so apt, and I'm sorry I did not think of that beforehand.
As I was describing it, I was like, oh, this is where the Joker lives.
Kind of. So, sometimes I watch the movies twice. Usually, like the day before, and then like right before we do the show. I watched this movie twice in a row.
Nice.
And so right now the Blu-ray is still on my player, and it is just going through the Blu-ray menu screen. and part of that is just Stretch running through the lair.
Okay.
Which is just full of, it is absolutely, like, not that far removed from, someplace the Joker would be hiding out in an episode of 66 Batman.
Yeah, the hacienda.
Yeah.
This is the saucienda. Good night. Good night, everybody. The last episode of the podcast. But I do feel like there is a point where it becomes a superhero movie.
A little bit, yeah.
Like when, so I spent the reason that we watched this movie is that I listed or I put a list on Twitter of things, pieces of media that include the song "Bringing in the Sheaves."
Which is in our last movie, or the last movie I picked, which was The Night of the Hunter.
Night of the Hunter. It's also in the Batman 66 movie, right. And used multiple times in Little House of the Prairie, to the point that Jenny hates it now.
Which is a show that you guys are watching.
Right, naturally.
Yeah.
But I spent the whole time watching this movie, like, when is that song going to come in? And in what context is that song going to come in? And it turns out that it comes in when Dennis Hopper, like, reaches the bowels of their lair with his chainsaws and confronts the family. And it's basically like that song is his superhero theme.
It's sort of like a battle cry, yeah.
Yeah.
He does sort of come crashing into the place like Batman in the first Batman movie.
Yeah.
So I knew, again, so yeah, I picked this because it has that song in it. For you, specifically.
Thank you. Cross another one off the list.
So the scene where Dennis Hopper's character goes to the chainsaw store, Cut Right Chainsaws.
Yes.
There's a marching band playing in the background.
Yeah, I saw them march by.
And I had to stop and make sure that wasn't... I was like, that can't just be them playing that song, is it? But they do sound similar.
Okay, I couldn't hear what they were playing.
So they were playing a song called "The Eyes of Texas."
Okay,
which is I guess a marching band fight song for a local college, maybe. I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay.
Ooh, because part of the plot of this movie sort of revolves around the fact that there is a big game happening this weekend.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot about that. That's the big game. That's why there's all the crazy people at the hotel, right? Like they're like, is it homecoming or something? Maybe that weekend.
It's I think Texas A&M versus Oklahoma University, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, it's I guess big rivals. There's because the two preppies who get killed at the beginning of the movie, which we haven't even talked about.
Oh my god, yeah.
Like the one in the sweater keeps yelling out "Hook 'em horns," which I think is a Texas A&M thing.
Okay.
In my limited experience of anything sport related,
I'm impressed.
Well, I had a neighbor growing up who was from Texas and just all about it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So there's also like some deleted scenes in this movie. Which Toby Hooper himself cut just for pacing.
Okay.
So apparently there's a scene where the family heads out to like a tailgate party and just murders a bunch of people.
Okay.
It's like a 5-minute scene that they just cut from the movie. And then they go to a movie theater and kill some people there too. And then that scene that features famed horror host Joe Bob Briggs.
Okay.
But again, that entire thing was cut, and there's a conversation that Chop Top and Drayton are having with each other.
Drayton is the chili guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they actually use all of that dialogue in the scene where Stretch is like hiding from the family after she like falls through the pit of the cave.
Yeah.
So they just reuse that dialogue with none of the actual scenes that those went with.
It's weird because without, now that I think about it, without those scenes that you're talking about, there is not really a Texas Chainsaw Massacre in this movie.
No, the body count is very low.
Yeah, like they kill the two guys in the car, which thank God.
Oh yeah, they definitely Franklin level deserve to die.
I was real worried that they were going to be like the heroes of the movie somehow. So yeah, thank you.
Yep.
But yeah, like they kill them and they kill LG, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, spoiler: the entire family winds up dying.
Right.
And Dennis Hopper. And that is the biggest body count, is basically them being defeated.
Yeah, it's weird. I hadn't considered it before.
Yeah. And honestly, like, you talked about gore. I'm assuming you don't like the scene where, Leatherface gets disemboweled.
That was okay because it was over pretty fast.
Okay.
And I actually did like him walking around with the chainsaw all the way through his body was hilarious.
All right.
I was actually into that. That was okay.
But what about the scene when Dennis Hopper kicks open the wall and just guts spill out?
I did not care for that at all.
Okay.
That was gross.
I mean, it was gross, but, everyone had already been harmed by that point.
That's true. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I didn't. It didn't make me squirm the way that other scenes did, but it was very gross.
So, what do you think about Grandpa? Speaking of squirmy,
Grandpa made me uncomfortable, but also, wow. Like the makeup for Grandpa was incredible.
Oh yeah.
I didn't care for the super tight close-ups of him.
No, that was gross.
Yeah, but everything else about Grandpa I thought was great, and like the sort of comedy, real tension with him with the hammer, like is he going to be able to actually do this?
Right,
was really well done.
So that is actually something from the first movie as well.
Okay.
Where in the first movie, they sort of make you think he's a mummified corpse.
Yeah, because he looks like one for sure.
Yeah. But then, like, the heroine of that movie, like, cuts her finger and, like, somebody, like, feeds a drop of blood to Grandpa and he sort of comes to life.
Oh, wow.
And they try to get Grandpa to kill her, and he has the hammer. He makes contact more in the first movie, but it is, not hard contact.
Sure.
So it just is repeatedly like soft blows with the hammer.
Like, this is annoying.
Yeah. So they really amped the comedy up for this one, I think. Just with him continuously dropping it or like hitting the side of the tin. But also still very tense for me anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely. I agree.
But yeah, he's just a gross mummy.
The mummy that I didn't care for was Grandma.
Grandmummy?
Why does the Grandma mummy have boobs still?
They're stuffed.
Okay. I guess that makes sense.
Taxidermied boobs.
All right. You got me there.
Pretty simple explanation. I don't understand what the problem was.
I'm dumb. We've been over this. Oh, shit.
So I'm guessing you probably would not recommend this to anybody else.
I mean, it depends on the person.
Okay, yeah.
Like, I'm sure, I'm sure that someone like Matt Brassfield loves this movie.
You know what? I mean, that's an obvious thought, but I'm not sure.
Really? Okay.
He does not like comedy in his horror.
That's true. That's true.
And I mean, this is a horror movie, but it is also very much a comedy. I did, other than just normally thinking of Matt Brassfield, I thought about him a little bit in this movie, and mostly his partner Juliet,
Mm-hmm.
who we are both friends with, who works at a radio station.
I actually thought of her as well.
And honestly, the part that I kept thinking about was like, so that first scene when the two preppy guys who luckily get killed call her on their primitive car phone. So like I just kept thinking to myself, like, why can't she hang up on them?
Right? There's got to be a way.
Like, this is backwards if that's how phones worked at radio stations.
I mean, it was also like they were calling a direct line in the booth. So, like, it wasn't exactly a Frasier situation where you had a producer who was screening the calls ahead of time.
Well, sure, but, like, again, why can't she just hang up?
Yeah.
She keeps telling them, you have to hang up. But, like, why? Does that phone only work one way?
I mean, I feel like wasn't there a thing where, like, the line, as long as one end was connected, the line would still be tied up?
Is that?
I don't know. It's been a long time since I've used anything other than a cell phone, so
likewise.
So I don't remember how landlines worked.
I don't either. And everyone we know who maybe does is really old, and why would they remember that?
Right. I'll ask my parents and see if they know.
Yeah, I guess I can ask mine. Yeah, well, I don't talk to mine, but I mean, yeah, I don't know anybody who has a landline anymore either.
Yeah. I vaguely remember something like that with landlines being an issue.
Weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, technology has gotten so much better.
It has, or has it?
Yeah, who knows? I don't know anymore.
But yeah, would I recommend this movie? Probably not.
All right.
Probably not to most people.
So you'll probably not watch this again ever.
I would be real surprised if I did.
Nothing. You're just going to say, "Hey, Jenny, we should watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2."
If anything, I'm going to be like, we should watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation.
I mean, I really want to see if there's anywhere right now. I know Suicide Squad starts tonight, but I might have to make TCMNG my next big watch.
Right. Wait, Turner Classic Movies: The Next Generation?
Yes.
Okay.
Turns out Ted Turner's an alien.
What? Illuminati.
I mean, he probably is.
Probably. I mean, yeah.
So one last bit of trivia, just for you because you have never seen it. So the ending of this movie, Stretch, our heroine, defeats Chop Top, and then stands on the top of a mountain swinging a chainsaw erratically while dancing.
Yes.
And screaming.
Yes.
And that is a direct callback to the first movie.
Okay.
In which the heroine of that movie escapes and is picked up by a trucker trucker and Leatherface get into a fight of sorts, and he knocks Leatherface down, and then Leatherface winds up cutting his own leg with his own chainsaw. And as the heroine and the trucker drive away, and she is freaking the fuck out, like with insanity, having finally escaped this torturous, arduous event in her life.
Yeah.
Leatherface does the exact same sort of wildly swinging around, dancing kind of thing, screaming at the end of that movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Stretch really did become Lady Leatherface.
Yeah, kinda.
Interesting.
It does make me wonder, like in this era of highly interconnected sequels, and not of that era where sequels were just whatever the fuck they wanted to be.
Right.
Would she have become, the next Leatherface? And because Leatherface dies.
Yeah.
In this movie, and yet there's still a third one.
Well, that's magic. Clearly, that's Arthurian lightning magic.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. But yeah, I there's no way a sequel like this could be made to any movie that has come out. But like even when I think about it, like there's no way that like Batman Returns could be made from Batman.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Batman would never have been made the way that it was as a standalone story.
Also very true.
It would have all been seeding things for future movies because they would have had to set up the new DC cinematic universe with that movie.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. I also look at something like Ghostbusters Afterlife,
right?
And like the way that is just completely beholden to the original movies, and like this sequel, comes out, a decade after the original, and is only tangentially related.
Yeah,
and I kind of like that more.
I do too. I would much rather see, something like this that takes like the original concept and like turns it around.
Yeah,
but like in a way, almost like the closest I think we've ever gotten to this, like in the modern era, is Thor Ragnarok compared to like the other two Thors.
Yeah, definitely.
Where they're just like, okay, let's just go batshit.
Yeah, let's just do our own thing.
Right. Whereas everything else is just like, nope, we have a tight continuity. Yeah.
They just don't make them like they used to.
No, they don't.
For better or worse.
Yep, your mileage may vary.
What's bringing you joy this week, Eric?
Oh man, I don't know. I read a very depressing graphic novel this week.
What'd you read?
It was called No Longer Human by Junji Ito.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Which is an adaptation of a classical Japanese novel that is just it doesn't make you feel good.
All right.
Yep. And it's not great when like I'm reading the first third. I'm like, oh, this is me.
Oh no.
But then it gets way more fucked up. So I would not call that a joy, but it was very good.
All right.
But I did watch the new Netflix Masters of the Universe over the past week or so.
Oh yeah, I heard that's terrible.
It's not.
No. I know. I've heard it's terrible from really horrible people.
Oh, okay. Yes. So I don't like Kevin Smith. I think he's just kind of awful.
Okay.
And when I heard that he was involved in this cartoon, I was like, oh fuck, for real, But then the reactions that I have seen online, like when the show came out from truly awful people saying that it's terrible. At that point I was like, oh, well then maybe I'll actually like this.
That's kind of how I felt as well. I had no interest in it, and then as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, I bet it's really good. I'll have to watch that.
And turns out it is really good.
Nice.
Yeah. And Henry Rollins does the voice of Triclops in a very small but amazing role.
That's awesome.
Because it's fucking Triclops. But I have a man crush on Henry Rollins, so it all works out.
Nice.
The only bad thing about it, I can say, is that it's 5 episodes and it ends on a cliffhanger, and we have no idea when the next batch of it is coming out.
I feel like I saw something today that it was renewed, maybe.
Okay.
So yeah, you're right. No idea when the next season will happen.
Yeah. What about you, sir?
I have a couple things actually.
Alrighty, hit me.
Earlier this week, I got a summons for jury duty, which I have always wanted to be on a jury, and I'm very excited about. I hope I get to do that.
I totally forgot about that.
I know it's a non-traditional thing to be excited about, but I want to be part of the system. I want to make sure the system works.
You just want to reenact your own 12 Angry Men.
I do! Yeah! I'm going to be the holdout.
Awesome.
Regardless of what I actually believe. They're all going to be so mad at me, they just want to go home. I don't know, guys. I have reasonable doubt. I hope that they don't find this and listen to it, but while they're making jury selections.
Yeah, this could bite you in the ass.
Let's edit this part out.
Okay.
So there's the prospect of impending jury duty.
It's just an excuse for you to get out of the house, isn't it?
Kind of. It kind of is. I'm okay with it.
All
right. Another thing was, speaking of Masters of the Universe, this week's Guardians of the Galaxy annual.
Okay.
Features the secret origin of recently introduced character, the Prince of Power.
Okay.
And the whole thing is a thinly veiled parody of Masters of the Universe, and it's awesome.
Huh. I thought Hercules was the Prince of Power.
That is a point of contention in the issue.
Okay, then.
It's well worth reading.
Okay.
It's completely standalone. It's part of the Infinite Destinies thing that Marvel is doing with their annuals. But you don't need to know anything about that.
Okay.
To read this issue, because I haven't read any of the other ones, and I read this, and I was absolutely delighted by it.
I will check it out then.
Yeah, it's well worth a look.
I think you tweeted something about it, and the cover caught me because the guy's bandolier or whatever he wears has a POP on it.
Yes,
and that really stuck out to me. I was like, is that on purpose? Does that say pop?
Yes, that is 100% on purpose.
All right, then. Well, now I'm super on board.
Yeah, you should absolutely read that. I think you'll love it.
All right, then.
And then the third and final thing, is that I got to interview Jeff Lemire this week.
Nice.
It was an email interview, but an interview just the same for his new Dark Horse series called Maze Book.
Right.
I got to read the first issue, and it sort of knocked me on my ass. It was real good, so that was exciting.
Excellent. Yeah, I know very little about it. I remember seeing a picture he posted, I think on Instagram, of some of the original art from the series.
Oh, yeah.
Which he says he drew to be mazes.
Yeah. He. I don't remember if he said that in the one that I did, or if he said it in another interview that I read. But yeah, he said stuff about how he some of the pages he could lay out on on the floor, and it would create a maze, like
Right.
putting them all next to each other. So yeah, it's really cool. And just the I like how his style has evolved, and he's doing some really neat stuff with color in this series.
Okay.
So yeah, it's really great.
I'll probably check it out. I'm kind of a hardcore Jeff Lemire completist.
Me too.
There's very few things he's done that I've just not paid attention to. So usually when he does everything himself, I'm fully on board. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll probably check that out as well.
Nice.
All right. Well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4. That's next week's pick, right?
No, I'm gonna go in a slightly different direction.
Okay.
Actually, semi-related to our conversation.
Oh.
And you actually mentioned the movie that I'm gonna pick already.
Oh.
Cartoonish, ridiculous violence. I would like to watch and discuss The Suicide Squad next week.
All right. I am fully on board for that.
Excellent.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
Sure, no, that makes sense.
Because I know that people will spoil it. And also I have, like 7 more hours to kill. So.
Right.
But hopefully I don't find it so terrible that I won't watch it again before the show.
I hope not. I'd be really surprised just based on sort of early buzz for it.
Yeah, much like Jeff Lemire, I'm kind of a James Gunn completist.
Yeah.
I'm pretty on board with anything he has done, so I'm really looking forward to it. And absolutely, let's watch The Suicide Squad.
Excellent. Continuing our run of DC movies on HBO Max. Which I guess the only other movie is Wonder Woman 1984 that we talked about. But
yeah.
It's a short run. Technically the shortest run you can have.
It's true.
2.
Yeah. We could go back and do the 4-hour Justice League, I guess.
No thanks.
Yeah, that's fine. I saw it once.
I did see that they're taking Steel off at the end of this month, so we might have to hit that before. I know!
I've actually never seen it.
I've never seen it either.
All right.
We'll save that for next time.
Okay. I watched Aquaman the other day.
Oh yeah, how was that?
I saw it in the theater when it came out. And did not care for it. I just thought it was real pretty, but it was real boring.
Okay.
So I listened to a podcast about a week ago where they were talking about it, and they loved it. And I was like, did I watch that movie wrong? And maybe I did, because turns out I kind of enjoyed it this second time around.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe it was just because I was comfortable in my own chair and not in public.
That could be. Yeah, that's a big factor.
It can be, yeah, for sure. But I mean, this was before pandemics or anything, so. But yeah, it was. I mean, it's not great, and again, it's more pretty than anything else. But kind of charming.
Nice.
Yeah.
All I know about it is I have not seen it. All I know about it is that an octopus plays the drums at one point, and that's enough to make me want to watch it.
All right. Why haven't you up to this point, then?
I don't know. I just there's a lot of things.
Sure.
Things to watch, read, do in the world.
It's a DC superhero movie. I mean, not by Zack Snyder, so
it's Aquaman though.
I thought you liked Aquaman.
He's fine. I like the Brave and the Bold version of Aquaman.
That is the best version for sure.
Yeah.
As we discussed on our many years ago podcast, where we talked about it.
Right. Go back and listen to that, listeners.
Yeah, get out of here.
All right, The Suicide Squad next week. Or are we done? Or are we done? Did you stop after you said get out of here?
I did not.
You could if you wanted to.
Well, I'll figure it out.
All right, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to The Viewmasters. You can subscribe to the show directly at view.guttertrash.net or at iTunes and leave us a review. Visit view.guttertrash.net for email information and links to Facebook and Twitter. We'll see you next time on The Viewmasters.